This is the English section for the ACT June 2018 Form A11. So in the first passage, for number 1, the answer is C. And the reason is because instruments here is considered as plural, and so that's why we would have to choose R. If this was singular, if instruments was singular, then we would choose is. So for the next question, number 2, which choice best maintains the pattern established in the sentence's two previous examples? So it first talks about the instrument and then shows the vegetable that it is created from. So in order to maintain that pattern, the choice would be H, because it shows that a flute is made from a vegetable or a type of vegetable. So, and then for number 3, gourds, darkened radishes, and other vegetables are used. We don't need a comma right here, so we can just leave it as a runoff sentence, and other vegetables are used to round out the orchestra. So 3 would be D. Then for number 4, 4 would be G, because this right here in the comma is non-essential information. So our focus, our subject is on the Nan brothers, and because brothers is plural, we would use were. For number 5, it would be D, because we need a dependent clause before the comma, and then after the comma we would need an independent clause, and D suits that the best. For 6, it would be J, because this can be considered as a dependent clause, and the next section, or the information after the comma, should be considered as an independent clause. So it would be he makes, because we need a subject, a verb, and whatever other information. And then for 7, it would be B, because we are shifting the paragraph from creating a low pitch to a high pitch. So we need a word that shows the shift, and the best suitable word for this is conversely. So 7 is B. And then 8 is H, because we have a comma right here, and due to that we need a comma before like, because this is non-essential information. So we need a comma before like and after humidity. And if we read the sentence off without this information, it still makes sense. Other factors also affects the sound quality. So that's why 8 is H. And then 9 is C, because we need a verb here, because it's affecting the sound quality, not effects. Effects is used after something has already changed. Affect is used as a verb, and in this case, factors are affecting the sound quality. So 9 would be C. Ten is F, because this right here, the first part before the comma, can be considered as an independent clause. So just like the previous questions, there's a dependent clause and then an independent clause follows it. However, in this case, it's different. First, it's the independent clause, and then this would be a dependent clause because it's explaining what will happen if a vegetable loses much of its content, water content. So 10 is F. 11 is A because this right here is non-essential information. So even if we read without those two words, the sentence still is a complete sentence. The most critical ingredient in creating high-quality sound is the vegetable's high water content. Which sequence of sentences make this paragraph most logical? So 12 is J. And the reason is here they first claim that the in creating high quality sound is the vegetable's high water content. So that's the first claim. And the second sentence is number 1 because it shows that it adds on to the previous sentence to show that most of the water content is lost on a newly picked vegetable that sits at the market. And then sentence 2 picks up off of 1 to show the reasoning of how the brothers try to create a fresh set of instruments in order to not lose that water content. Um, 13 is D because this can be considered again as a dependent clause and an independent clause. So right here, the first sentence before the comma is an independent clause, and the rest of it is a dependent clause because it's adding off of the first sentence. And then 14 is H because that information is not relevant at this point of the essay, because in the entire essay they weren't talking about an old electronic tuner, so it's just not relevant. Then 15 is B because in paragraph 2 it talks about the early ages of the Nan brothers and what they did, and they loved music when they were young. So, and that sentence we need to add is when they were young as teenagers. So the most logic place to put that sentence is at point B.